Welcome back. Part 2 starts now.
Well, this was, no, he immediately went to call him when the police were ejecting me. And when they went to have a sidebar in the side meeting, he went to take a phone call, probably to call his cop friend or call Josh, find out what they wanted to do. Yes, one way or another, we're going to find out who knew what and when and who ultimately was the decision. But just to be safe, I'm going to sue them all by name and find out whatever. I'm going to make them come to court and prove why they should not be named in this lawsuit. So,
do you think that's going to do anything, though? I'm not, and there's no right or wrong answer, but I mean, just pursuing them in this way, do you think it's going to change anything with them? Because don't they already have the money just to get out of this?
There's no getting out of the violation of my constitutional rights.
No, there's not. But do you think that's going to change them in any way?
No, a lawsuit is not going to change hearts and minds. Writing a big fat check, it's not going to change hearts and minds. But it's going to teach them that sort of behavior comes with a price.
So it's important.
I mean, what is the value? What is the value of the Constitution? What is the value of the First Amendment?
Well, we already know that it's deteriorating daily.
Indeed.
By people like this keep chipping at it because they want it their way.
But I think it's important that we frame it appropriately. So I would ask those people, what is the value of the Second Amendment to you? Because it's the Constitution. It's all the same. I mean, it's all the same. So my First Amendment means just as much as your Second Amendment.
It's the
In
same
fact,
people
it's
that
the first.
They pick, like my mom says, because she's religious and she reads that little book and all that stuff.
Yeah, we
so
cherry pick it.
They pick and choose what they like out of that book, but that whole book should be dictating their life, right?
They're conveniently patriotic.
Yeah.
As though
Nothing patriotic
the troops
about destroying Constitution.
Yeah, as though the troops didn't die for my ability to be gay at the library. Yeah, they did. Sorry about it. Yeah, they did.
Yep.
And so
freedom.
Thank you. And so, all right, board meeting's going back underway. I get called back up to give my public comments on the original motion because I gave my comments about the amendment, and then once that failed, it moves back to the original motion. It's Robert's Rules of Order. So I get up there, my next commentary, I apologized on video. That'll be posted eventually. I'm at the podium. I apologize to these two ladies that are sitting here that are administrative folks. I apologize to the finance guy and the library director. I turn and I apologize. I said, I apologize to you as human beings, to the board. I turn around. I apologize to the audience. I apologize to you, deputy that was already here. I apologize to you, deputy that got called out. But what I don't apologize is for liking queers and black people. And I turned around. I said, and I believe they belong at the library. And then I went in on the board president about how powerless he is to have me removed and violate my constitutional rights. I stood my ground and I told him, I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of any of you. And I don't know when the decision was made. We will find those things out. But at some point, the decision was made that if I made another sound, I have a witness, I may have two, that heard the board president tell the deputy sheriff, if he makes another sound, arrest him. So I went back to my seat. And when Michael Lunsford got called up to give his commentary about the banned book matter, I said, yay. I didn't shout. I didn't assault a woman. I didn't cause a ruckus. I remained seated. I said, yay, and I was arrested.
Sounds like some petty shit.
Sounds like some unconstitutional shit.
No, it's petty. It's childish to be that way because there's nothing going wrong. You've not assaulted anybody. You like the guy that was sitting on the other side of the room where he actually physically touched somebody and was actually making a ruckus.
Correct. And the majority of the people in that audience, not only had they also participated in some outbursts of some extent, but they also are of the same mindset. And so I was speaking for them.
But you said you have a target on you. So I mean,
I have lots of targets on me.
I think they're trying to make you.
Oh, I was absolutely targeted from the moment I walked in. I was wearing my PFLAG Lafayette t-shirt. Oh, I did bring that. Let's show it.
Show them.
Yeah, please. And if you would like, you're welcome to purchase one. So.
And that's resemblant of the sign that we have downtown that gets, it gets painted for different festivals. It gets painted for different cultural events. And, I think the first time that it was painted with the rainbow flag, it caught hell on that as well.
Yeah, it was shortly after Drag Queen Storytime, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
But that was the first time that it had ever been painted,
that would have been 2019, I think. Yeah. So
I do remember that.
It's 6 foot cement, for those that aren't from here, you can Google it. It's Y, like the letter Y, Lafayette sign. And it's 6-foot cement letters that say Lafayette, but the Y is missing, and you stand in the middle and you put your arms up and you get to make the Y. So for Black History Month, they painted in Black History Month colors, 4th of July. I mean, literally any sort of cause, you petition this, or you request to be able to paint the sign, and every year we paint the sign in Pride colors.
Do you have to have a permit to do that?
You have to.
Because it is a public park, I think.
It was a program that was allowed to operate within the public park. There's a person that runs the show, so you can't just go over there and paint it because you want to. It's not like a graffiti thing.
Okay.
It's permissible graffiti for a month at a time. We actually only get it for 2 weeks out of June because there are other things, but that's cool. Interestingly enough, sidebar. When George Floyd was murdered, I actually helped to. I wear a lot of hats. I don't just do LGBTQ stuff. I actually helped to arrange the protest that happened downtown at UL. There was like 1,100 some odd people. But we also decided that it would probably be a good idea to approach one of the Black youth organizations and see if they were interested in painting the sign, and like give up some of our time if they want to paint it in gradient skin tone colors.
Okay.
And so I approached.
That did happen though, didn't it? Because I did see that.
It's the New Leadership Foundation of Acadiana, I believe. It's run by Erica Floyd Williams, who she had run for a council seat or something, but I was told this was the place to go to, and I did. I went out there as the president of PFLAG and met with them and the little kids and explained to them that we were there to support them. I helped them paint. Reggie Thomas came out there, who was campaigning for city marshal at the time. Abraham
he is the
Rubin.
marshal now.
He is. Yeah. A.B. Rubin, who is on the parish council.
I was so worried that he was not going to get it. He was the most qualified.
Yeah, well, he should have been police chief. But anyway, Josh is going through police chiefs quicker than he goes through boxers, and that's because he wants loyalty.
The interim one now is gone.
He wants loyalty, is what it is. There's apparently a certain period of time that if they remain, then they get some sort of guarantee on things, and he cuts them before they ever make it because he wants them to do his bidding. All right, so we paint.
This is not how government should be run.
They paint the sign in gradient skin tone colors, but they left the sides. And
is he out this?
Oh, he's up for re-election, and he has already started his campaign thing, which interestingly enough is located in the offices of the city parish attorney.
That is illegal.
Weird. I called and asked for someone on Josh's campaign.
That's illegal. You can't run.
Yeah, I'm probably going to file an ethics complaint.
I would.
Yeah.
I would, because that's
lots of things.
You're not supposed to be using, public office.
Why is a city parish attorney on your campaign team? Why is he using his security as mayor president to teach law classes at UL?
I'm sorry. Any politician that needs security lets me know that you're up to no good.
You know why? Because Tara Fogelman.
Oh, because some lady was barbecuing on the street
outside of his house. That's my girl. Go Tara. Hell yeah. Team barbecue. Also, I'm invited to the cookout, by the way. Black people love my potato salad. I'm just letting you know. Anyway, so he needs personal security because he's scared for his life and his children because of barbecue.
Stop doing shitty shit.
The spiciest thing they eat in the Guillory household is mayonnaise. So he teaches law.
Damn.
He teaches law.
Just like Charlemagne. All this mayonnaise.
He teaches.
God damn this mayonnaise.
So he teaches he teaches law classes at UL, and the charter clearly says that the mayor president cannot hold other employment while you are mayor president. And not only is he holding other employment at UL teaching law classes, but he uses his security that our taxes pay for while he's teaching classes at UL.
I didn't even know this.
It's another ethics complaint. All right, so
you should have been following this shit a long time ago, though.
I mean, I've just recently discovered.
What would it
Can
take?
I investigate in my own timeline? Thank you.
What would it take to actually assemble a group of people?
Yeah.
And you all file these complaints.
Yeah, there are discussions.
Multiple.
There are discussions.
Not just Matt, because as soon as Matt does something, you know what they do? They try to figure out a way to go around it, or a way to fuck with you. You need a group. That's why I asked.
I'm forming one.
With PFLAG, you've got you and the other people that are part of the board. Mm-hmm. You're the only one that's actually spearheading everything.
Well, no,
there should be a good.
I just want to be clear about so PFLAG is involved. The board is involved with lots of different things. Mm-hmm. I have a lot more free time, and so
this is by choice then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
well,
not,
then
it's not so much as I'm being shoved out there and they're hiding in the closet. They have other things that they do. They're members of other things. Like one is a teacher. There's just lots of things. So I'm the guy who I have skin in the game because I live on the north side and I am a gay man, and I'm the one that took the step to come out and tell my story, and I'm the one that volunteered to be the president. Like I'm just like this.
I have a thing against organizations that love to be about something but are not doing anything.
Yeah.
And as a person that runs an organization, and it's just a for a specific breed of dog, but I guarantee you I'm involved in every fucking aspect of it. Even though I have people doing it, I'm about what I'm talking about.
Oh, I assure you,
So-
I am on boards.
But
I've been on boards where people are placeholders, and I'm very quick to call it out because the last thing I want is
That's
somebody
what I
who
don't
wants to
like.
vote just because you want to vote. Like, what do you bring to the table? And I have
That's
made
what I'm
some
making sure of.
I've made some people very uncomfortable recently by asking, what do the bylaws say about attending a meeting? Why aren't they here? What do you have to do?
Well, most people don't even. I'll tell you this: they got board members that don't even read those. They don't know they exist. So I mean,
You just a vote. Why does somebody have your proxy every time you're supposed to be here and you're not? Like, I'm sorry. What are you actually
well,
doing?
I've seen some places where the secretary just signs off on everything. It's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, but that didn't happen. Oh well, no, it's just a formality. Yeah, a formality that needs to happen. So yeah, that's what I made. That's why. And PFLAG, I'm not picking on you guys. It's just I don't like
Yeah,
organizations
please don't.
that are.
Because I mean,
I'm not.
Respectfully.
But I brought it up several times because I see you are in the front.
Yeah.
So I'm making sure that you have the support.
That's a mantle that I took on. If someone else was better with time or with the want to or whatnot, and I've done press with my vice president before. Who else have we had in front of the cameras for us? So one of our teacher board members, his name is Kirby Jeanball. He's a French teacher at Prairie Elementary, I think.
Oh, that's the one that's right there.
He handles.
They're gonna tear down. This is so unrelated because it just went through my head. They're gonna tear down Lafayette High and start over again.
Really?
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So Kirby teaches French immersion, and Kirby is also a parent, so he handles the parent meeting, which is I'd be lying to tell you when, but if you follow us on Facebook, he handles the parent meeting. So we do things. So PFLAG is education, advocacy, and support, and our board members all have to serve on at least one committee.
Okay.
So we do education, which is teaching people a website, and advocacy is kind of what I do, and so we have people that do that. We have a trans person of color that works on that. So there are people behind the scenes. I'm just the front man.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And then education, advocacy, and support. So Kirby is part of the support group. We also have Sarah Riggs, who is a parent of an LGBTQ teen, so they work together on the. So I don't want anybody to sort of come away with this as though the PFLAG board members are not just as invested. I just use my talents for investigation and advocacy and my mouth to just be like, nah, I'm.
You're taking the bullets and everything.
Yeah.
Because that was your choice. Hey,
Yes.
and just to let you know, an update because I had reached out to you about the donations to the homeless.
Oh yeah.
Kendrick has taken care of that, and Acadiana Cares is picking everything up on tomorrow.
Oh wow.
So they had to get a U-Haul because I said, Kendrick, no, this is not put it in the bed of a truck. I was like, this is a lot. And he was like, oh, okay.
So Acadiana Cares is coming to take everything.
They're taking everything.
Rocking.
Because, I hate to say that I could have had a more selection. I could have had a bigger selection for women, but I don't know what to get. I kind of know the average size male that is homeless for the most part. And I know I can get those sizes. But then you start looking at the female sizes, and there's 8s and 10s and 12s and 1s and 6s. I didn't know what to do.
What all are you buying?
The biggest abundance I could it's all the essentials, because what I originally was going to do until I found out there was an ordinance in town that said that you cannot go and hand things to homeless people or you'll get arrested.
Oh, I'd love to challenge that one.
So-
Because I did for COVID. Me and my friend made 100 sack lunches and went and passed them out, and I dare people to arrest me.
Well, my whole thing is I ordered these duffel bags. The duffel bags you could probably put like 4 or 5 days worth of clothes in, and I was going to put it in there. I was going to put all the essentials, everything. And even a pair of shoes. And I would just, when I'd go downtown, I was just going to hand it to whoever was homeless. Just say, hey, man, somebody's thinking about you. I know, times are rough, but here you go. Somebody's
Such a
thinking about
nice
you.
guy.
But then I was told, Tim, don't do that, especially downtown. They'll arrest you. I was like, what? They're like, oh, yeah. I got the ordinance number written down, and they're like, yeah. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, so I was like, fuck. And the last thing I want to do is I don't schmooze with nobody. I don't coordinate all this stuff. I've got enough on my plate to begin with. And that's when I posted on Facebook. I think I'd already talked to you, but I said, well, just in case I need more people involved, I posted it there, and Kendrick replied. And then of course, you said you knew Kendrick. And Kendrick, I said, well, look, here's Matt's number. Y'all talk and figure it out. But he did get one organization take it all. My next one will be for veterans, though. So, but I would need to know some input on, like, say, what is the was it you that told me about the
Arch.
What is Arch? Wait.
Acadiana Regional Coalition on Homelessness.
No. The one for battered women.
Oh, Faith House.
Faith House. So if I know kind of what they need, I can be on the lookout for it. So when I have access to that again, I can get it. I didn't know what to get for women because there was so much stuff. And
I don't know sort of the mechanisms of what you're doing to come across this stuff or what, but I have a contact at Faith House if she's still there, because if I could just do a slight plug, Faith House, if you look it up, Faith House Lafayette, Louisiana is a battered women and children shelter, and they have a very secure compound, so women can potentially find a safe place to stay with their children, and they don't allow men on campus. I get allowed in because I adopt a family and I help them and stuff. So when I go, I buzz them and I say,
but that's to protect them too,
right?
though.
It is, yeah. And so every year for Christmas, for a while there, I was financially able to adopt a family every year. And so what they do is, rather than saying, because I can tell you, if you bring a bunch of clothes, they're going to put it in a storage unit, and people are going to be able to go and get what they need when they need it. They get a lot of donations in terms of clothes, but they can tell you what they specifically need.
Okay.
I don't know what their situation is right now with what they need, because it's been so long since I've talked to them. But I would go.
Well, I'll say, as I told Kendrick about how I'm able to do this, is because Louisiana Husky Rescue has a specific type of account, and we have access to all kinds of things, not just for animals, but we can get things for people. We can get things, cleaning supplies, all kinds of stuff, and we can get this stuff for free. So I figure the best way to get it out to these other organizations that probably will never get this type of access.
Right.
I worked hard for access like this. I wish I could get the same access for dog food, but I can't. It's like I get declined for this shit, but I get approved for this other shit.
Weird.
So when the stuff, I have to check the website, 2-3 times a week. I can see everything on there, and I can order as much as I want, and it doesn't cost the organization a dime because it's surplus throughout the whole nation. And they just want it to go with these registered, they have to be registered on GuideStar. You have to have a certain rating. You have to have your reputation. You have to have all of your audits and all of your documentation in order. And here you go, free for all. Go and grab it.
And they are giving you actual products, or they're giving you funds to purchase
It's
products?
all brand new stuff.
But they
it's
send
product.
it to you?
They send it to me.
They don't give you funds to purchase stuff?
No.
Okay.
I had all this stuff shipped to, Felix, you remember last year I had over $80,000 worth of cleaning supplies, and I donated to restaurants, minority owned restaurants in town.
That's cool.
So all the clothes came up again, and I was like, I've been wanting to figure out what to do. Once again, you see homeless, what do you want to do? You want to resolve the matter. You want to help them out.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, I'm going to do that.
I can definitely put you in touch with some folks, and it's probably going to be through Arch. The president of the Lafayette Parish Democratic Party Executive Committee. I'm the vice chair. She's the chair, but she actually works with Arch. And they are, like I said, the Acadiana Regional.
Just kind of get a list so that I know what direction to go in, or whenever I decide to do it again. Like my next one is veterans, because
what they're going to be looking for, especially females, is going to be feminine hygiene products, cleanliness supplies, things of that nature. Probably what you're looking for in terms of women. Otherwise, I don't know what kind of clothing you have access to or whatever. But really, they would probably take anything, because there's always going to be a need for it, just because they don't have.
Example for all the stuff that's at the shop right now. It's all underwear, it's socks, it's shirts, it's polos, it's shorts, it's pants, it's shoes, it's coats, and light jackets and stuff like that. And I don't know. I haven't tallied up last time I tallied it up, because I wanted to see what kind of an impact I was going to make for the restaurants and be able to say, hey, look, I'm going to try to help you out for a couple months and, get rid of the burden because of, all the shit that happened with COVID and know it affected them. They're trying to watch their, their spending. But that's what it is for all of the donation to Acadiana Cares. That's what's going to them. And belts as well. So it's pretty much, you can have 2-3 days of new clothes, sealed in packages, everything.
Yeah,
so,
I would potentially also contact Tulip House. I don't know if I told you about them, but they are an LGBTQ shelter for at-risk youth. And I think they're out of New Orleans. I'm not sure how big their operation is, but they could
Well, I
potentially
want to
use
stick
some
to local.
assistance.
This is where I live. I want to do the community here.
Yeah, I would absolutely love if there was an at-risk shelter here. It is a near and dear cause to my heart, and I've already got a property that I have my eye on for when I somehow come up with enough money to build an at-risk youth shelter. So when that happens,
Well, your popularity
you
is
can assist me.
putting you everywhere.
I will
and-
absolutely let you know what you need for my shelter.
Though the popularity is, I mean, as you said, you're all over the newspaper and everything like that, especially with this local arrest. I mean, and that's why I asked. I was like, okay, the activism, is there something behind that? Is there a plan? Things like that, or is it like, is Matt just trying to be famous?
No, not at all. And so I have, with my ADHD, I have what's called executive dysfunction. And so I have all these great ideas, but I just have I struggle with getting things done sometimes.
But it takes money to get them done.
Right. But I have all these great ideas, and a lot of times things just sort of happen in a way that I can sort of realize, okay, well, if I do A, B, C, D, E, and get this person, that person involved, I can potentially be like, hey, here's this idea, go do that. So there's a lot of things that I'm getting done without actually doing them myself, if that makes sense. I don't want to throw around words like visionary, because it's really just a lot of sleepless nights where I'm just like, I can't get out of my head,
I can't sleep. I'm thinking about all this other shit.
I just care, and I pay a lot of attention to detail, and I'm not scared to back up my shit. Private investigator meets activist. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do it. I may not actually do it myself because of the whole executive dysfunction thing, but damn if I can't dream it up. And I would love to.
But you have people that are helping you, so I mean, you can.
100%.
It takes a team to do all this shit.
Yes, and it will take a team to sort of make sure that this level of censorship doesn't happen in the library anymore.
Well, it takes continuing to go to these meetings, that's for sure. And I think a lot of people. My mom actually struggled with the drainage board for Vermilion Parish, or is it St. Landry Parish? Yeah, it's St. Landry Parish, and because her house was the only one in the neighborhood that was getting flooded all the time, blah, 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 blah. And she stopped going, and they stopped caring. I said, well, Mom, it's because you got to keep going to these meetings. You got to keep showing up and tell them, I'm serious. I mean, because they are liable to take care of it, because there is law that says when a property is flooded so many times, blah, 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 allocated by the parish can either buy you out or they can actually fix the problem. Yeah. So she's looked into all of it, but, she just got tired of going to the meetings, and, and that's what happens, people, if you want to see change, you got to show up. You got to be going. Hopefully you have more of those people going.
You have to vote, too, because, again, you can go and scream at the top of your lungs at these meetings. They've already gotten their
but if you go to the meetings, you know what's really going on. And then you can decide to vote, because I promise you, not everything is going to be on social media for you to find. And that's another problem with social media, I think, these days, is people see that as the news. Yeah. That's not the news.
No, it's really not.
That is your opinion column by all of your peers.
Yeah, it's been heavily editorialized. It's, it's the facts as folks see them, and not as it actually went down. And unfortunately, we do have...
So you said you have video of what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a court reporter for these meetings or anything like that?
There is a secretary. Yes.
So they're supposed to do the same thing as a court reporter, say during a court case.
They give the minutes of the meeting, so they're going to discuss.
But that's factual information.
Yes, but it typically pertains to the agenda item. I don't know that the meeting minutes would say that someone was arrested during public comment.
I'm sure they'd have to account for time, though, and say that we were disrupted.
I have an arrest paper saying that I have a misdemeanor for disturbing the peace by disrupting a lawful public assembly. So, just to recap, and I don't know if this being released wouldn't interfere with my plan anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the sheriff's department tomorrow, 8:01, and I'm going to let them know that I have a criminal complaint to file against Mr. Randall Caffrey of Web Coding, and I'm going to let them know that I was present at a board meeting where he disrupted the peace by interrupting a public lawful assembly. I'm going to give them all the information that I have about them. I'm going to give them all my information, and they're effectively going to go look through their system and see who I am, and hopefully drop my charges. Either way, they violated my rights. So, best case scenario, they decide to review the evidence and see that he actually did disrupt the meeting, did disturb the peace, but,
What was the, I did not read, because I knew we were going to be having a discussion today, but you sent me a bunch of screenshots of something. What was that?
Okay, so
Is that a hit piece?
Yes. So what I sent you was something from Michael Lunsford, who wrote about me. Let's see.
A nice opinion column. And look, the thing was so fucking long. I was like, no, Matt's just going to fucking talk about it on Sunday.
Yeah, so
And plus, I don't like looking at all that stuff on my phone.
You're fine.
Like, how the hell am I going to get this?
So picky, this one.
Yeah, the phone is meant for playing
Oh, yes,
games.
I'm a sex rights activist.
What?
Yeah.
Jeesh.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much all they think of when they think of gay people. Is
Exactly. So I'm not going to read his article, and I would just recommend that
So,
you not even
but it
go
was-
look for it because he's an asshole. I'm not going to read it on. I don't want to get him any more clicks to his website.
So, wait, so that's his personal website.
It's Citizens for a New Louisiana. And he's like a blogger, and he gets on video and he talks about, the finances within Lafayette Consolidated Government. He makes it look like wasteful
Why is he
spending.
talking about that?
He fights against renewing the millage at the library, to get the taxes to pay. He's anti-tax crowd. The sex rights mob, yeah. The sex rights mob really didn't like the idea of parental oversight. They said they did, but only if parents took the initiative. The misguided sentiment was so bad that Matty Brockovich, one of the many fake accounts for Friends of Drag Queen Storytime's VP, I'm not the VP, but anyway, and sex rights activist Matthew Humphrey, that's my name.
So pretty much the whole thing is, it's just him babbling about how he feels, right? And
so he
blurring the reality and the
Indeed.
facts
It's-
of what has
It's
gone on.
literally fake news in action.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I posted a photo of himself getting arrested for repeatedly yelling at and heckling me during the meeting. No amount of warnings would sink in. With each warning, he became even more rowdy and obnoxious. In fact, if someone was trying to get arrested, they couldn't have done a better job. Flashback. Yay. Literally what I did. So,
Wow.
call it what you will.
So when's the next meeting?
Walked him out of the meeting.
When's the next meeting?
It's the third Wednesday of the month, and I believe that is March 21st.
So everybody, well, my
third Monday of the month.
12 people in Lafayette that watch this, make
Please
sure you
come
go
to the
to
library.
the library meeting. Oh, wait, I don't know. Matt might be sharing this with his crowd, so go support your buddy.
Listen, you don't have to be gay. You don't have to like libraries. You don't even have to know how to read. If you're an American and you appreciate the Constitution, then you have to appreciate the First Amendment right to freedom of speech. And you cannot arrest someone for saying yay to their elected officials.
Guess what
to
comes
their
before
voters.
2? The number 1.
Indeed.
Freedom of speech before your damn ammunition in your arms. No, you brought something else in. Boy, when he walked in, he brought like props and food and
There's breakfast. I'm in a hurry. I'm a busy man.
breakfast.
Right. I got a banana and string cheese and nuts. Do you want some nuts?
So, no, I'm good. I just do coffee until nighttime, and then I eat at night.
So this is-
So
I don't know.
what we have here is a proclamation. What is this for? I mean, what is it? I mean, you walk around like it's just something to give to anybody, but I mean,
Oh, no, I just keep it in my car because I haven't turned it over to the archives at UL yet.
okay,
So this is a piece of history. We talked about sort of the history of pride and what it means.
can I see it while you're talking about it?
Yeah, of course. So I have been rallying, or PFLAG has been sort of taking the mantle, and I've been very vocal about it personally, to try to get Pride Month proclaimed for the month of June. And this is just one more way that the folks in power at LCG have just sort of kept us away from the table. So Josh Guillory refuses to proclaim June as Pride Month. And he has gone so far as to say he does not believe that that sort of thing is a function of government, that government should be about, drainage and infrastructure and Sure, yeah.
But
fine.
I'm a good Christian man.
Well, so what we do is we
I think that's what his platform was on, wasn't it?
I'm not even sure. Winning.
Did he not say one of the first things was I'm a Christian man or a Catholic? Or whatever
One
the fuck it
parish,
was?
one future, winning together. Yeah, whatever. So, yeah, he says that, he doesn't believe that proclaiming Pride Month is a function of the government, that we should be doing all this stuff. So what we have done, several of us, has taken that little snippet from the article and copied and pasted it on all of LCG's Facebook posts, where they do the ceremonial proclamations, key to the city, honoring this baseball coach, going to this parade. It's all these functions of government, but not for the queers. And so there is actually coverage on KATC. It just so happened that Mr. Carlos Harvin, Chief of Minority Affairs, was honoring the Asian American community in our town at Parc Sans Souci, downtown, which is the location of the Y Lafayette sign from the shirt that I was wearing. We just happened to be out there painting it that day. And
Did y'all get some
I
time?
may have gotten a lead that he was going to be out there. So I came prepared with a letter, an official letter on behalf of Matthew Humphrey, president of PFLAG Lafayette. And it was a takedown of every ceremonial thing that LCG had done since his statement in the paper.
And where's our time?
There is footage of me handing it to him. And then the reporter asked him after his little thing with the Asian American community was done, what was going to happen with the Pride Proclamation. And he punted. He said, that is a question for the mayor president's office. In his hand.
Boy.
So they know. And the thing is, I brought the letter to council and read it. I had been to the podium before and told them, tell me what you can do.
Do you think it's you?
I would imagine I am pretty brash, and I would imagine that to some extent it is, but it's because I use words like ignorant and bigotry. Like I try to teach about those concepts.
Well, you're not using the simpler terms like you fucking moron and you asshole.
Dick.
Yeah, you could use that.
Don't
You're
be a
being a
dick.
little, a little more eloquent.
I'm using a bit of tact. Yeah. That said, I did get gavelled at an LCG meeting where I told him that his handling of COVID was bullshit. And they were like, don't use that word. And I said, well, is that a mandate?
Oh boy.
I have a flair for the dramatic.
I think they just, like you said, you had a target on you. I think if anything that you're involved with, they're going to go against. It's just because they've got a personal issue with you.
Yeah.
And even though you've had no personal issue with them, it's just, you're the face of it all, and they're tired of it. Which is another reason why I say a team of people should, not just Matt by himself.
No, we are. No, and there is a team, and so they may not all be paid up members of PFLAG, but we're all. There's a huge.
Because
so these people that are sort of the bad people, for lack of a better term, they're a very vocal minority. There is a much larger majority that we have been growing and getting louder and getting to show up. It's just been.
Because what kills me is all these people will show up downtown at night to go drink together and go home together. But why are they not organizing in a fashion like they do in France or in the UK or in Norway?
Well, kind of that's where we have to hit them. I mean, you're either hitting them on social media or you're hitting them where they're at. So I actually just recently put my GoFundMe QR code on my phone so that I can be downtown and be like, aren't you that? They're like, aren't you that guy that got arrested at the library? I'm like, yes. And here's how you can find out more about it. And they can literally just scan it and go to the website on their phone. So I don't have to repeat myself to 400 people downtown. And so I'm effectively now amassing more people to the coalition and asking them to share it and asking, like, there's going to be an event. There is already at least one protest besides mine that is scheduled at the next library board meeting. I anticipate a very large turnout.
Because I wouldn't even make it, I mean, you don't even have to make it a PFLAG thing. You just make it about censorship altogether for everybody.
PFLAG is just an organization in Lafayette. It's
I know. And I would, and when I think about it and
it's
what
about
happened,
censorship.
It would just be, hey, look, do you like to be heard? Do you like to, share your thoughts and opinions, or do you like to know the truth? It's like, hey, well, we need to organize about it, because guess what they're doing? They're shutting they're trying to shut that all down, and they're teaching our kids that they're going to be only raised in a certain way.
Yeah, it has a chilling effect on free speech, and that's what it's intended to do. And so I'm certainly not taking on the mantle to speak on behalf of.
I don't know how to fix that chair back either. Sometimes that chair just wants to launch you out. I mean, it's Jesus Christ.
Sir, I will have you arrested for disturbing the peace.
Oh, he didn't even say anything.
Disrupting a.
At least go.
All
Yay.
Disrupting a lawful public podcast.
Oh no, there's nothing public about this podcast. You've got to be invited. I don't need all these crazy people coming on here.
Indeed.
And you know what I do? I try to invite some of the people that would be against anything that I think of. But boy, they don't want to talk.
Oh, I would absolutely love to personally invite Michael Lunsford to come and be on your show.
I don't know who I see. The thing is, oh God, you'd have to give me time. I'd have to go do research and figure out who he is. I don't even know who he is. That's my problem. So, but I'm sure you could feed me with all that information. But no, it would not have to be biased information. It would have to be just the facts.
Well, just the facts are shit. That's the thing. It's like
the facts make it seem like it's a biased opinion.
There's no need for me to spin things about assholes. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's just like, look at this. I don't know a single good thing about the man.
I just don't see how
He's just a meddler. He's a professional meddler who just makes this place less fun to live in. And all I want to do is make it fun to live in. I chose to stay here.
Is he an older guy? Is he one
Yes.
of the older generation, or is he our generation?
He's got to be over 50.
Okay. All right. I'm just wondering, because it all boils down to the people that, are, I hate to say, the generation ahead of us that are still always stubborn about
they
things.
Can't get over.
Now I can't say anything about Guillory because he's a generation under me, and I don't know where the fuck he came from though. But I don't know if he's puppeteered by anybody.
Imagine. Yeah. Who do you think?
Is it the same people that have the Red Laurel sex dungeon party crowd? Is it them?
I don't know anything. Oh, this face. He's like, what?
I've been trying to figure out what this scene was. After I found out about it, I was like, I want to find somebody that's in it. So, well, I've got a client that owns a business and has owned a business for 30 years and said that, oh yeah, because I brought up a specific business owner that loves to say that she's rich and blah 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 and be a part of everything, and we can all figure out who the SM lady is, but my client said that, yeah, she goes, and Deadface.
Oh God, is it who I'm thinking of?
Deadface said that.
No.
Oh yeah, they used to have him at Red Laurel's.
Not that,
like,
not
what?
that Skeletor looking lady.
I'm like, Red Laurel's? She's like, oh yeah, it's just an orgy party. That's all it is. And now they just move it to somewhere else. I was like, what? She goes, yeah, because other people were finding out about it. I was like, what? I was like, oh. Now, mind you, is
this what's going on in the locker room?
Is locker room talk? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out about. I'm trying to find out if this shit's real.
I'm
tell everybody
what goes
that's
on in the male locker room at Red,
tangled into some kind of public office or anything like that. I'm trying to find out. I was like, okay, well, who's having all this shit? I want to know why the fuck y'all doing this.
I mean, I don't work out. Well, I mean,
I bet you they're the same.
I'm
ones.
literally snacking. Clearly, I don't work out, but I've heard about.
So, wait, you're saying people that snack don't work out?
I'm saying, look, I'm on a podcast. I'm like, you know.
It doesn't matter. Anybody can snack. You don't have to not work out to snack.
Look, don't paint another target on me. If you work out and you're doing sex dungeon things, I don't care. Just let me go to the fucking library.
I'm trying to find the sex dungeon people because I'm trying to find one to put on a podcast to figure out how the fuck y'all started this crazy shit in this little Hippocratic town that is so prudish on everything.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see the opening on this one where it's like, I'm trying to find the sex dungeon people.
I should use that.
There was another thing earlier where I said, I don't even remember what the hell I said, but it was good.
No, usually when I go through the whole thing, I start clipping and finding my things. What I used to always do is I used to use things that were not even in the podcast as the beginning, but oh well, I don't know.
Anyway, I'm sure you're going to do an excellent job. I can't wait to see it. But
no, you're the one doing the talking. You're the one sharing the information. You
don't know anything
the ones
about
that's
sex
fighting
dungeons.
all of this stuff. So I'm just. The reason why I bring it up is because it's supposedly a bunch of business owners that make a lot of decisions and influence politics in here are the ones doing that, and the politicians have dirt on them because they're at these parties.
So fun fact.
I'm like, is this a conspiracy theory? But then every time I bring it up, I get one person that hears about it and goes, and it's like, wait, that face tells me that shit's got to be real, or you're part of it. I'm gonna find out.
So a fun fact, because I feel like if we're gonna spill tea, let's spill all the tea. So the three plants on the library board are Robert Judge, who is now the president, Landon Boudreaux, who is Ricky Boudreaux's son. Ricky Boudreaux is the chief of police.
God, why does that
in
sound like a
Youngsville.
fucking actor on Billy Madison or
Yeah,
something?
it sounds like somebody off the Dukes of Hazzard or some shit. So anyway, he's the guy that proposed the amendment about the leasing a building instead of buying. And then there's another lady who is named Stephanie Armbruster. Her and her husband George own an armory. They're apparently very familiar with guns and ammo and all these things.
The Second Amendment, of course.
Yeah, and so she was very vocal in opposition for Drag Queen Storytime, and she serves on the library board. And so the first time that they tried to ban that book, This Book is Gay, she mentioned that she was on the committee that reviewed it. She was one of the board members, and that she had some very serious concerns about all the information in it. And one of the things that she brought up was the use of apps like Grindr. And
how is that in that book?
It's because This Book is Gay, and it's about things, and so it was.
Oh, so it is real. Like it's been written recently and talks about the things that are going on in modern times with sex.
Indeed.
Okay,
it is a resource for young gays to figure out what being gay is like. I mean, and my sort of public comments at that time, I said that this would have absolutely helped somebody like me.
Yeah.
And but where she fucked up.
And first of all, if you're not gay, you're probably not even going to read the book.
She's talking about how there are so many excerpts from this book that I just would not feel comfortable sharing. Pearl clutching in my face. And then she drops the name of Holden White. And if you have not heard of Holden White, you should Google him. He was the victim. He's a local victim of a hate crime. And I say hate crime with pride because I personally, with my connections, helped to get it designated as a hate crime. So when the family reached out to PFLAG, the mother had no idea what to do, and she had no idea that she had a voice at Lafayette Consolidated Government with the police, whatnot. When they reached out, I found out about it. We started working together. I wrote, as a former private investigator, retired, I wrote like a 4 or 5 page investigation guide of things that I wanted answered by the Lafayette Police Department, because my concern was within less than 24 hours, the detective assigned to the case was able to tell her that it was not a hate crime. Excuse me? What? Really? You processed the scene that quickly? You already went to his house? I mean, the kid tried to saw off his hands. He attacked him. He tried to strangle him, and he had surgery on both his hands. He tried to cut them off. You're not going to tell me that it wasn't some sort of targeted hate crime.
How did this happen? Okay, I'll look it up.
It's Holden White.
This is crazy.
He met him on Grindr.
Sounds like
they talked for over a month, and when they met, apparently things went some kind of way, and he tried to kill him.
Didn't he have somebody in another state? Oh, no, that was the Craigslist killer is what it was. Because they always have these crazies that get on these apps, and they just start killing people off of them. And it's like, geez.
Yeah, so I wrote a statement guide, went with her to Lafayette Police Department, spoke with the head of the detectives there. They would not answer any of my questions, but I let them know that I would be holding them accountable at Lafayette Consolidated Government. I went with the family to a town hall meeting that Josh Guillory was present at. He was very receptive, I will say. He was kind to their issue. I asked him, I was there on behalf of the family. His mom and his dad were there in matching shirts. I explained to them what happened and that I wanted his direct oversight on Lafayette Police Department to find out what was happening with this. How did they know so quickly that this wasn't a hate crime, and that I would like them to try to pursue hate crime charges. Now, we didn't, of course, get any movement with that, and I ultimately called the FBI. I had a contact at the FBI. I told them about this. The FBI got involved on it, and they found evidence on his computer that he had not only attacked other men before, but he was planning on killing men and keeping body parts for mementos.
What?
Yeah, we're going to court March 14th.
Jeez.
He has
our own homegrown cuckoo bird?
He has federal hate crime charges now because of the work that PFLAG Lafayette did.
And why wouldn't
why
wouldn't an investigation go into the people that were supposed to investigate it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Police the police. Exactly. How did she know? How did she know that it wasn't a hate crime within 24 hours? You know why? Because she didn't give a fuck.
No, she didn't. She was just like, that's just
so
one
back
of
to
these people
Stephanie
like
Armbruster. She's talking about banning this gay book, and she says, well, and then we just had that little young LGBTQ guy that was attacked by somebody that he met on Grindr. So this is clearly full of bad people that are looking and I got up there, friend. Well, one of the things that I want to say, because it circles back to the sex dungeon thing. So the guy that is the owner of Crave Romance Boutique on Johnson Street. He was supposed to be on the
podcast too, but he's so busy.
He's a cool guy. He actually spoke up about the banning of the book. He was there. He goes up to the podium and he was like, "Hey, Stephanie, how you doing? As I recall, back in the circles we ran in, you were pretty wild in your youth." And I'm like, oh my God, sex store guy just called out Stephanie Armbruster. I bet
he would fucking know.
I bet she's a freak. So anyway,
we know where she shops.
when I got up there, what I said to her was, respectfully, ma'am, I wouldn't want to read anything in a library that was only filled with things you're comfortable with. Also, I just ironically, I had spoken to Holden White's mom that morning. She called me crying to tell me about the date of the federal charges and asked me if I would sit next to her and do press for her because she was going to be a fucking wreck. So I was pissed and walked away from the lectern. I said, how dare you evoke the name of a young man who was almost killed by someone to support your weak argument about a book that you want banned from the library? I said, I have something to say about it. I am the one that was contacted. You don't know these people. You should utter his name. I helped to make sure that this happened. His mama called me and how dare you bring their shit into this to support your argument? And I said, you know what? Good night. And I walked off because otherwise I was going to jump that fucking table. I was so angry. So angry.
See, and that's why I wouldn't be able to do this stuff, because I would punch somebody. I'd be in jail. I wouldn't. My activism would have happened in that minute, and that would have been the end, because they'd lock me away forever, probably.
Yeah,
it's insane.
So yeah, that's the sex dungeon thing. That's the tea. So those are the three people that are on the board that are pretty much just going to hold up everything if we let them. we have to speak out. So we are going to be organizing. So I don't know so much about a name yet. It may just be a private thing. I don't know that I'm going to necessarily advertise the name of the group, but there's a lot going on that I'm not necessarily going to talk about right now on the podcast, that I'm not necessarily going to tell everyone about.
What do you think is going to happen with your proclamation? What do you think they're going to do, seeing that a reporter was there, and actually a reporter even asked
the lawsuit? Yeah. The charge for the guy?
No, because when you confronted the guy to see about getting, a month, what do you think's going to happen?
I don't think he's going to ever. I don't think he's ever going to bend and work.
So he said his piece, and that was it. You need to go back to Guillory.
Oh, the chief of minority affairs. He's an appointee from the mayor president. Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying. He got himself. Oh, that's gonna. Oh, great. That's the guy for Bella. I'll talk to him later. Oh. No. He threw me off because I actually do have to. Hold on one second. So when people say, "Oh, I will handle everything. Don't worry about it. Are you sure? It's going to be a lot." "Oh, not a problem. I got it." And they always want to play the big shot and all this other stuff. And then, of course, I expected that.
That's why I do a lot of stuff at work
on
my own.
I got the estimate, and
I don't trust anybody.
I'm like, yeah, okay. I was like, don't worry about it.
I don't trust anybody.
Raw data, I'll trust that.
Yeah, me too. I trust my own work, and so I've found more often I have come to terms with being a teacher, but I have found more often than not it is much more efficient to just do things myself.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I keep myself so busy, because it's just like I have the mental capacity, and I guess I'm not gonna say patience, but I just have the willpower to just do it. So I'll just do it myself. That's why I am constantly just doing and going. It's just because you can't rely on people. And then the first thing they do is they put their hand out, and it's like, we haven't done anything yet, so I can't give you anything. Mm-hmm. So
that's why you don't get any sleep, because you're doing it all yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and you're doing the same thing.
I was gonna say, but don't delegate to a guy like me, because I can't fucking say no.
What do you mean?
I just can't. I can't.
Oh, I'm good at saying no.
Oh, see, I'm not. Teach me your ways.
It's simple. It's like when you can't do anymore.
What's that like?
Well, you'll figure it out eventually, because I guarantee you I learned, and I stick to it. And mind you, it leaves me with people being pissed off all the time, and friends deciding, "Oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore." That's fine. You don't have to fucking talk to me. I'm busy right now. I'm sorry you're always fucking bored. But then you don't want to help me.
Oh.
So it's like, whatever.
Then he answers the phone with people like me, and he's like, yes.
Shitty people.
I'm like, no, I'm a good guy.
No. You have to realize.
Wait, is this new?
What?
That light? Or have I just not looked in it yet?
That light's always been there.
Oh, this tiny little...
That's why I'm sweating. These are LEDs, but I'm sitting here and I'm sweating, and I'm just like, oh, I always do in here. Yeah.
I see this purple dot to go away. I guess I haven't looked at it.
That's because you stared directly into it. So, I mean, what's the next plan of action that you have going on? We talked about, an arrest. We talked about drag queen story time, talking about some of these politicians around here. I'm not even going to ask you about Canadian politics, because Canadian politics is kind of, I say it's a fragile subject because,
About what politics?
Acadiana.
We've touched on it. It's all corrupt.
I mean, we know it's corrupt. It's just... I don't know enough about it to actually put too many opinions on it. I just make sure that I'm fucking voting for people that I've vetted, and not vetted, but I've actually seen something happen with Carly. I didn't even know she was out of the blue too. So I mean,
yeah.
But those were the options that we had.
So next steps. I mean, the only other achievement that I haven't mentioned in terms of PFLAG was we worked to get an anti-LGBTQ bullying resolution in front of the the school board, and it passed unanimously. I do.
And what will that do? What is that going to do?
Effectively, it was added to the policy that the Lafayette Parish school system did not allow LGBTQ bullying. So they already had sort of a policy about bullying in general, but this was specifically about LGBTQ bullying.
Will it be equally policed and made sure that it's being utilized?
I mean, just as well as any other bullying is policed in school, but if nothing else, this was a message to young queer kids that, hey, it's okay to report, it's okay to be LGBTQ.
Yeah.
So that could even potentially be a challenge about the whole don't say gay thing, because... I mean, there was already a resolution that...
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up. I ain't never heard of that.
Yeah,
you heard of that? Oh, because that's weird. But that's Florida, you said, right?
That is Florida. That's
No
Ron
other states have
DeSantis.
that?
No, but I mean, come on.
Alabama.
Well, we know where it start. Where
Yeah, we're
where one
eventually going to
starts.
have one. We can't have gay books in the library. Next thing you know, they're going to be like, we can have gay kids in the schools. It's effectively what they're trying to do. They want to send us back into the closet. And unless people like me push the envelope, people like PFLAG, people like Marcia Broussard and all these other folks, unless we push the envelope, they're going to pinhole us.
Who's some elected officials that are coming up soon that actually are worth something? Trying to vote for? Do you know any?
I'm working on it. So I actually recently was appointed to the DPEC, which is the Democratic Parish Executive Committee for Lafayette Parish. I'm the vice chair. And I'm actively looking for candidates for public office to unseat these folks when they are termed out or up for re-election, I should say. So yeah, I am also doing the work there. So I decided sometime end of last year, probably around the time that I got sober, 107 days today, that I was 2 feet in Lafayette, that I was staying. I'm not going to leave. And if I'm going to stay, I'm going to work to shape this city into what I feel like it can be. I'm not going to have people in City Hall saying that this is a mini Austin, Texas, and do things like they're doing. Like that just would never happen in Austin, and it will never reach its full potential as a cool little weird city if you guys keep doing this shit.
Do you think that? So you said sober 100. How many days?
107.
107 days sober. Congratulations on that. That's an important thing. Now, with that, do you think that everything that you're doing now, you've shifted from that to something more positive? Because I hate to, because everybody always says, addictive personalities will jump from one thing to another. Do you think you have an addictive personality? And if so, do you think it's finally now just fueling something good compared to what it was fueling before?
No, because I still had the same energy with this type of stuff when I was in active addiction.
Okay.
So the only difference is now that I have
clarity.
I have a more clear view of the path. I can see it, as opposed to feeling like I was just sort of like tumbling, bumper carsing into everything and things just sort of happening just because. Now I see the sort of 4D chess element of things and making connections much more purposefully. So while
Protecting yourself too.
Correct. So while I did not go to the library with the intention of getting arrested, I was in much more control of my behavior because I'm not actively drinking right now. So
There's no erratic
correct
part
yeah, I'm
to
much
it
more
because,
stable.
Yeah.
A whole other thing about addiction too, and we don't need to get into it too much, but I'm not just sober from alcohol. I'm also very emotionally sober. Like the reasons why I drink are not something that I necessarily need to get into much more, other than the fact that I had a very abusive childhood. I talked about the rape. This whole thing.
Those are coping mechanisms is all it is.
Yeah, well, effectively, I don't want to feel like I feel sometimes. So, like, the presence of this does not make me want to drink. It's about loneliness, and it's about feeling useless, and it's about worrying about is so and so upset.
What's the day-to-day stresses that compile on ourselves?
Yeah, and when I don't want to feel that way, I'm going to have a drink, and I just so happen to not want to feel that way all the time. And so now I am very emotionally sober. I am feeling. I understand. I'm like, oh yeah, that's anger. That's not just that want to drink, because it used to just be like I translated it as I want to drink.
Ooga booga, drink.
And
now.
so now
Ooga
I'm like,
booga, bash head.
I'm like, what? Why do I feel like this? Why do I want to drink? And I'm like, what is this emotion? And I realized, oh, okay, well, that must be what sadness feels like. Oh, that must be what betrayal feels like. Oh, that must be what, like, disapproval from somebody that I admire feels like. However I frame them. So I'm able to process things in a much more healthy manner. I'm actually actively establishing boundaries. So I am getting to the point now where I'm comfortable with saying, I'm sorry, but I can't be that person for you, because I put a lot of stuff on myself because I'm also very codependent. There is also a Codependence Anonymous program that
as
I'm
you
gonna
said,
start
why you
attending.
can't say no then too.
Correct. Yeah, I have this incessant need to have people's approval. So as much as I tell the armed career, well, because that's how I define my self-worth, by doing things for other people. It's actually quite similar to narcissism. So the reward center in a narcissist brain is triggered by using other people to feed off of, and the reward center in a codependence brain is fed off of let me do things for people.
You said you listen to podcasts, right?
I don't listen to podcasts so much as I go and find subject material that I'm interested in on, like, say, YouTube. So if I want to learn about my attachment style, I'll go and Google, something along those lines.
I was gonna say somebody that you'd be interested in, but it's not. There's no topic. I see all my podcasts, no topics. It's all just comedians, but it's comedians being themselves, talking about the industry and talking
Are you calling me a
about what's
comedian?
going on. No,
Are you calling me a clown?
no. So you might like Whitney Cummings because she talks about a lot of
yeah.
neurology. She talks about a lot of,
She's a little slutty.
I don't care about all that. But
No,
she
I do. I
seems-
like it.
She seems to be well gathered since, COVID, and that's by talking to all these people and doing research on herself and talking to, I forgot, there's several people she's had on her podcast that just help her, Same thing with Nikki Glaser. She's just out there, you know. But they're very aware of themselves and where they came from and where they are now and where they need to be in regards to their status and what they should be putting out, and while realizing the damage that they've had done to them. So I don't know. It'd just be interesting.
Little known fact: I actually aspire to do at least one stand-up comedy set before I am done here. Not here, but in general life. A lot of times I'll think of something that I feel like is exceedingly funny, and I'll just write it down. So I might do well as like a joke writer. But anyway, yeah, that's just a sidebar.
They've got that Club 337.
So question, sir, Mr. Podcast, sir, when do you find time to listen to stand-up comedy and you can't find time to watch Aaron Brockovich?
So while I am working, while I'm writing code, I actually have a TV on where I will turn to every once in a while and I will watch for a few seconds. So people are like, oh, you're concentrating. No, I am actually taking in a lot of stuff and I'm multitasking.
If you wouldn't mind, the next time you feel like listening to stand-up, put Aaron Brockovich on.
I thought you said that wasn't a comedy though. That's
it's just a show. I'm just using information against you.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I investigated insurance fraud for a long time, and so anytime I have sort of like red flags, I'm going to push back on that. Like earlier, you said you didn't have time for Aaron Brockovich, but you have time for stand-up. Like, does not compute.
Always got time for the people that I follow.
So little fun fact about private investigators: we're not just guys in cars following people around. We are detectives.
Hey, don't you have to have some kind of psychological background to be able to do that too? Because you need to know human nature and all sorts of things like that.
I mean, I don't know. I'm crazy as hell. I didn't have to pass no psychological. No. I had a connection to Domino's Pizza, and I learned what he knew, and I was talented.
That was it.
You have to have moral turpitude. You have to take your class for 40 hours on campus, $375, and you have to get hired on by a firm. So you can't just be like, I want to be a private investigator and go out and
Or start your own firm.
You have to be a private investigator for another company for 3 years to start your own firm.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, so there's not a psychological thing. You have to follow ethics and you have to have moral turpitude because you're potentially going to be on the stand swearing in front of a court like a detective. So I wanted to be a police officer when I was younger. Also, I wanted to be a singer. I thought cops were cool. Now I don't think cops are cool. All cops are bastards. So, and again, anybody watching that, it's not about each individual police officer. It's about the system being used to oppress black people. So don't get it twisted. Black Lives Matter. So I wanted to be a cop, but I didn't want to run. I didn't want to get shot at. I didn't want to ride around in a car. I wanted to be a detective. I wanted to be the guy that goes in and watches the evidence and puts it together and figures it out. I like shows about con men. I like shows about testifying.
You need to
in court.
dissect something.
Correct.
And,
yeah. It's got to be. I mean, I've said it I've said it for 18 years now. A monkey with a camera can do surveillance. I mean, you just got to press REC and. They can't drive or anything, but it's really all it takes. It's all the brain.
Well, now you just put it on a stand and just let it go. Huh?
Now, when you lose somebody, when you're doing mobile surveillance, there is a science to finding somebody. So that is one of the most entertaining parts of surveillance to me is when I'm not following somebody, I'm trying to figure out where they are, because then I'm actually doing a locate. Oh, I wish we had time. One of my favorite investigations. Well, we can do an episode down the road if you want, just about fun stories about private investigation. It'd be very fun, but. I'm gonna have to be careful with what I tell about that one.
Well, just leave that alone.
Yeah,
but
also
you have to think of how you would compose
once
that.
your trash is at the road, it's public property, and I am not too afraid to go and dig through it to find your ass.
Oof, good Lord. But I
Anyway.
mean, don't do dirt and don't be dirty and you'll be fine.
Exactly, the truth will out. So, so I was not only doing surveillance, we also do public records searches. So we're going to the courthouse to find out, who you're married to, who your property, where your property is, vehicle searches and stuff. We do asset checks to find out what you're worth in the event of a lawsuit. But one of my favorite parts is recorded statements. So you get the facts of a claim, and you start out with, what's your name? Where do you work? What's your date of birth? And then you get into the fact. Yeah, you establish rapport, and then you just, all right, well, tell me what happened. Yeah, you love me, don't you? Tell me what happened. I'm a pit bull. Oh yeah, I love it. God, and I can,
So that's why they
and I'm
don't,
like, oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. They're gonna say it. Ooh.
that's why they don't like you, is because you just get them.
And then you just keep it going because they lied. They know they lied. They just let it keep going. Let it keep going. Just let it get you bathe in it. And,
So when I
and
need to
get
find
you the
something,
details
so
and
I
see
just
how
have to
committed you are to lying.
take you out of retirement.
And then a little bit
find out
later, I'm
stuff.
just like, all right, well, there was one thing that you said that I just wanted to clarify. And so based on this, you reported here, this that happened, or this person's statement, this is what happened. But then earlier you said that this happened. And so I just want to clarify. And the look on their faces in that moment when they realized they just committed insurance fraud and a private investigator.
So wait a minute. So that's the glory?
Oh, indeed. Oh, yeah. The glory is you don't get that fucking check, you liar. That's the glory.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
And on tape, it happens in a courtroom if they want to push it.
Not a deposition?
So, yeah, that too.
So, because usually they'll deposition and then all of a sudden it becomes a settlement. Because they don't want a judgment against
Yeah,
them.
sometimes these shitty attorneys don't read the stuff that's sent to them, and they're just like, let's go to court. I believe my client. Oof. It's not cute. It's not cute.
When you represent somebody, you better know everything that they're saying, because they might not bring all their freaking
Well,
cards.
they have cause for a dismissal or a retrial because then you've got, it's not necessarily a retrial. It's all civil stuff, but, and then they try to, it's so funny when they try to get you, like when the plaintiff's attorney tries to, like, tear at your investigation. I was like, I'm sorry, what was the question? Oh, turn to page 4 of my report.
Sad.
You can review the video at minute mark such and such. I mean, I got a time and date stamped report. People are like, you write so much, you're so wordy. And I'm like, yeah, that's because I
you
I
have
will
to
not be
record
misinterpreted.
everything. You have to actually, it's like a technical document, in my opinion. It needs to
It is. It's
have
a
as
legal
much
document.
detail in it, because guess what? I would rather somebody never come back to me again and know exactly what the fuck happened.
Well, that's why I was so good at my job. I mean, I managed a department of between 17 and 22 professionals who were responsible for quality control on very high-end investigations for, name an insurance company. Pick one. Geico was one of our clients. Not only Geico Auto, but Geico Marine. So we did a lot of investigations on boats. So when Hurricane Pick One came through and damaged a bunch of people's boats, we got an influx of claims for Geico. Yeah, pick another one. Liberty Mutual, Progressive.
Allstate,
Every one of them, yeah. Uh-huh. I
Well,
think it was
first of
about
all-
the third largest nationwide private investigation company. And so I was teaching these people to be as
God, they are
comprehensive.
losing their shit.
Yeah.
They're losing their shit.
So
We're
yeah,
gonna-
we don't have details. We gotta, get into the facts of the investigation and tell the truth and leave no stone unturned and don't leave anything open to interpretation. So Michael Lunsford barked up the wrong fucking tree.
So that's it. So we've got some last minute words, because we're gonna shut this down because it's 4:00. I didn't think last time I looked it was 2:00.
Oh yeah, well I told you I have till 5.
Yeah, but I gotta take care of dogs.
Okay.
And then I gotta pick up my car.
Oh, okay, so we're shutting it down
So I
early.
gotta close it. Don't worry about it. I mean,
I feel like we got good stuff.
yeah. Last minute thoughts. Last minute. Anything you want to say to the audience that's listening right now? Is there anything you just want to tell them to watch out for, or
Not necessarily. If you're are you comfortable with all the points that you said you had?
Oh, I took care of everything I needed to do.
We
I
good?
knew exactly what I was doing. And then you also brought up a couple things that I
it's
needed
just
to
so
talk
rare
about.
that someone else steers the ship adequately, and we just don't have that trust yet. So I just want to make sure
What do
you
you
had all
mean?
your stuff,
What do you mean?
handled. I'm just kidding. Thank you for having me. I don't really have anything else, so I
mean, you're here
I
on
do a
behalf of
whole
who?
lot more. I do a whole lot more than that. Well, I'm here on behalf of myself.
Okay.
Hi.
How can people contact you?
So I am on, well, I would just go to YouTube, honestly, or, I don't necessarily want a bunch of contact from, like, my social media page on, Facebook, but you can, follow me on Instagram. It's charmingmatty. Mm-hmm. Are you surprised? Are you surprised that it's charming?
I can't believe that you would want somebody to. That's your personal?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck no. I'd never want anybody messing me in my personal shit.
Oh, I don't want you to message me. Just follow me.
But what happens when they follow you is they decide they want to message you.
Okay, please don't message me unless you have a way to help my cause.
Nonetheless, yes.
Or
y'all reach out. I'm gonna put the YouTube link.
Or there are certain things that you could also mention me about that he would not allow me to share on the podcast. Be like, there you go with that Hornets. It's not like that, but also
I don't care.
Listen,
Get in his DMs. Y'all go fuck each other. I don't give a shit.
Listen,
That's y'all's business, not mine.
Listen, I
don't care. I mean, I'm
a
not
catch. I'm husband material. I was married for 10 years. I'm very single.
I'm not trying to dictate whatever happens off of this podcast for my guests. Go for it.
Listen, shoot your shot, bros, but I let guys down very gently. I'm just like, you know what? That's not it for me.
No, that's when you say no.
Oh, well, and I mean, who's going to follow me? One of your, you have 31 followers or so? I mean, I don't.
No, 3.
3. Oh, you knocked the one.
I mean, 3. Yes. I mean, they are unsubscribing by the day.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, my Instagram is not all that.
But we'll get the YouTube channel at the bottom here in the
recently
description.
Talking about sort of activism things. Otherwise, it's me cooking and.
Well, really, I wanted you to hit point with what you had going on and the recent thing that just happened, because I don't know how far it went. I do know it's just a lot of shady bullshit that goes on that not most people are involved in, but they complain about because they've heard it from somebody and they're just not acting on it. You're acting on it. You're actually doing something about it.
So next steps, I have already retained an attorney. I do have a second attorney in the event that I need it, and then I have a third that is interested. Mm-hmm. I also have my former attorney from the ACLU of Louisiana, who is no longer the legal director there. She is now teaching a First Amendment clinic at Tulane University. So she has like 5 or 6 or 7 young attorneys to be that work with her on First Amendment crimes, and she has already said that she will volunteer herself and her clinic to assist with this. I've also been in contact with PFLAG National, the Director of Advocacy, Policy, and Partnerships, who brought word to me that they were monitoring the situation. He called me on behalf of the Executive Director, Brian Bond, who has ties to this area. So I have asked, if the opportunity presents itself, I would like one of them, to come down here and do some press with me and my attorney, because that will bring this to sort of a whole other level of being observed. Otherwise, I mean, that's really it. So my attorney is going to represent me for my criminal defense on the charge if it's not dropped, and then we're also going to work on a federal lawsuit to
go after these
name folks.
yokels.
I mean, they committed a crime. They violated the First Amendment to censor me at a meeting about censorship. And it's just not a cute look. And unfortunately, this is something that happens, and I'm anticipating that it's going to be a very hefty price tag in terms of punitive damages. And that is unfortunately the message that has to be sent. But again, this is not something where I am trying to get rich. I am trying to force my elected officials to do something on behalf of minority communities. And so a very, very, very large portion.
Which basically means do your job and represent the people.
Correct. Yeah. And so a very extremely large portion of any sort of recovered, I don't know what the word is, I guess recovery, or it's punitive damages. It's damages that are given in terms of to punish someone for federal crime, for violation of the Constitution. A large portion of those funds will be used for community endeavors, and I'll decide at some point, probably with a team, I don't know, about a foundation, something. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you for sure is that if we win, my figure right now is at least $10 million, and that is $8 million for a library for banned books, and at least $2 million because fuck you. Really, truly. This has been 3 years of my life personally, but also 3 years at least of just being pushed away from the table for all of these different minority communities. So I want at least $10 million, and I'm going to make a library for banned books. And then we can have all these people who are so passionate about library banning books, they can bring all their money here and see how popular banned books are. Yeah. And I want to do the same thing with an LGBTQ history.
Well, first of all, the people have to say what they'd like banned from a library, not one individual. Even though we do elect
Correct.
These people to speak on behalf of the people, but the way that politics happens now is the minorities getting the stake to say something.
So while I was arrested, the agenda item that I was there to speak on was voted on, and it passed. So they are going to have 2 board members and one librarian who are going to review all of the books in the collection and decide what stays and goes. So yeah, I'm sure that it's going to be 2 board members that are anti-drag queen story time, and then that librarian's going to get outvoted.
Or
and
they're
then
just the ones that throw
just going to
stuff in there.
ban and ban and ban and ban and ban. You know, might as well just go ahead and torch them. Just torch them all. But so I want a guarantee that we have access to banned books, because fuck you. And then what I would like to do, ever since this has been sort of a dream of mine for a while, I would like an at-risk LGBTQ youth homeless shelter. And I would also like for Lafayette, Louisiana to be the home of the LGBTQ History Museum of the South. You don't want to have us a place at the table. You don't want to promote us so that businesses move here. I would like all of the gays from the South to come here. Oh, you're from Jacksonville and you want to read about Jacksonville history? We'll have exhibits. Oh, I want to go read. I want to go to the museum because they're talking about Tampa. Or they're talking about. I'm going to pump out Lafayette, Louisiana to all these big cities in this
Where's
region.
his historian? You need to get you some historians now.
Yes, money.
So everybody, that's Matt at, what's your Instagram handle again?
Charming Matty.
Charming Matty.
Yeah, and again, the videos are available until I have enough followers or subscribers or whatever to have and it will be eventually YouTube.com
Once he gets a name.
Charming Matty. Once I am somebody. Yeah, but if you, it's under Matty J. Brockovich on YouTube. Otherwise, you can look up the hashtag Free Matty.
Goodbye, everybody.